Some very interesting new polling out from Pew Research about how Americans feel about the news media. And surprise, surprise, a vast majority of Americans believe that their news is influenced by corporate interests. Now, what do you say there, Krystal? It's pretty incredible, actually, if you look at just how biased Americans think that the news media is. They look at how they look at corrections. They say that the news media does not produce their stories all that well. They say that news stories are opinion or factual, and they largely agree with that statement. They question how they choose and they find their sources. They wonder what are their potential conflicts of interest. They wonder the money is coming from. I love this because it just goes to show you a vast swath of the public knows exactly what is going on with the media. And they won't tell the truth over and over again. They're like, no, had nothing to do with it. You know, the Jeffrey Epstein story and then what was going on with ABC News and then Disney, or the way that they cover China and ESPN. I mean, Americans know that it all comes down to the money. And I think that that is, at one of the very least, an inspiring thing to say, that they look at the media and they say, hey, you know what? I don't trust you. And you shouldn't. And I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even about like individual journalists and like this is just the structure of this system is designed to boost corporate profits. That is the whole goal.
Yes, it's just true.
It's filler. The shows that you watch on cable news or whatever are filler between commercials of selling you whatever. Like, that's what it is.
I remember Rush Limbaugh actually said that once. He was like, my job isn't to talk about politics. My job is to keep people engaged so that they sit through the ad breaks. And I was like, hey, look, this is honest.
That is in fact the reality. And what a poll like this shows you is that people actually understand that.
They see it.
Now, what I would be curious to know is how many of them would say that the sources they prefer are influenced by corporate interests. Because I bet you would get very different numbers there. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is still the case, but it used to always be like, people would be like, I hate Congress, but I love my congressman. I think there's a similar dynamic here where it's like, I hate the media overall, but Fox News is amazing and they're telling me the truth, right? So I do think there's a little bit of a bubble effect that goes here, but you have to show, you have to say, like, people are smart and they're savvy. They see what's going on. They're not fooled by the fact that you're promising that you're telling them the truth and you're fair and balanced, or you're down the middle and that you're an unbiased journalist. And I think it's also a big part of why you've seen so many independent sources become so successful. Completely. Because there's such an appetite for people who aren't just doing like cheering for their own home team type of journalism and analysis, which sadly is incredibly, incredibly rare.
That's exactly it. And this is why I love looking at this, which is Americans are not as dumb as the media thinks they are. The media is like, oh, we're so objective and fact check and CNN, this is an apple, a banana, whatever the hell that thing was. 69% of Americans in this Pew poll say that media tries to cover up their mistakes. 70% of people say that they're not honest whenever they make a mistake. That's just something that people are really not willing to grapple with. How much trust has been lost with the mainstream media, especially in the last 4 years. And finally, we have some data. By the way, you think anybody media outlet picked this up? Not one.
No, they will just, all they'll do is blame Trumpian rhetoric.
Bingo, right.
And look, his rhetoric sucks and he goes over the top and we don't want to demonize, villainize, that's all true. But there's never any self-reflection about why does that rhetoric land with so many people? Why do so many people respond to it and go, you know what, that rings true to me, and I've seen it and I've experienced it. Maybe it's because you got the Iraq War wrong, you got the financial crisis wrong, you got Russiagate wrong, and their reaction was like, oh, well, it's not our fault that people aren't upset about Russiagate. It's that people are too stupid. We need to create like a graphic novel version, and then maybe it'll land. So anyway, interesting stats there, and a lot more rising for you after this.